There's really nothing stopping a watch brand from making a quartz watch even smoother than mechanicals, but it would probably use more battery. You're exactly right, and there are a few examples of that. We've spoken in a previous video about how most quartz watches work, where a battery sends an electric charge to a two-pronged quartz crystal inside, which oscillates at a very specific frequency, usually 32,768 hertz, to signal the motors in the watch to move the hands forward at 1 beat per second. But technically, the motor could be adjusted to sweep the second hand even more smoothly. For example, older Seiko movements like the 5S21 and 5S42 used a spring and a dampener system to adjust their sweep to be buttery smooth, but their battery life and accuracy wasn't all that great. Plus, they were a pain to get serviced or fixed if anything went wrong, and eventually they were discontinued and sort of replaced by the spring drive, which came out shortly after, which functions differently than a typical quartz watch since it uses an electromagnetic brake to effectively slow down the speed of the second hand as if you were driving in a car, but then slowing down on the brake to make sure the car is going the correct speed. That's a pretty broad oversimplification of how the spring drive second hand works, but there are plenty of other examples of high frequency or smooth sweeping quartz, like vintage Longines Ultra Quartz, which ticked 170 times per second, but again, extremely difficult to service. But then there are modern watches, for example, those that use Casio module 5566. Yes, Casio watches with a smooth sweeping second hand, or those that use the Seiko VH31 movement, both of which tick at 4 times per second, so faster than most quartz watches, but slower than most mechanicals. But one of the most recent and most practical examples of this is the Bulova Precisionist movement with a quartz crystal that oscillates about 8 times faster than a traditional quartz watch, specifically 262,144 kilohertz, which then beats at about 16 times per second, double the frequency of most mechanical watches, resulting in an absolutely buttery smooth second-hand sweep. And to achieve this, it uses a 3-prong tuning fork instead of 2, like in most quartz watches, but it also has another trick up its sleeve: an incredible accuracy within plus or minus 10 seconds per year, while most average quartz watches deviate this much in just a single month.